YouTubers, welcome back to SheinCuisine. This episode, we're going to do homemade pancakes from scratch, a batter that you can make up very easily and very quickly. You're going to need basic ingredients: a couple of eggs, 2 cups of flour. This is all-purpose flour. This is going to make about 6 pancakes, maybe more, maybe less, depends on how big you make them. Get to the English side. Magic baking powder. This is baking powder. You can get off-brand stuff. I recommend you get the real stuff. For some reason, I don't know, maybe they're stale or what. The off-brand baking powder, I have to use a lot more than I do when I use the magic baking powder. So anyways, I've been using this since I was a kid. Use this. Some sort of flavoring. Vanilla extract is what we're using here. You can use maple extract if you want, whatever you want. You can also add extra ingredients like blueberries and whatnot, but in reality my family's not really keen on that. Milk. Yes, here in Canada, Ontario, our milk comes in bags like this, and we pour them out of containers like this. How much milk? I don't know. We'll find out when we start mixing this up. And a little bit of butter, just to put in the pan when we fry it up. So let's get to it. Flour goes in first. Mix the dry ingredients. Probably, I know this isn't an official tablespoon measure, but 2 tablespoons of baking powder. If you go wild on this stuff, you're going to get stuff that's going to rise like bread, but it'll still be good. Stir the dry ingredients around. A couple of eggs. Got a little aggressive with that last smash. And just stir that up a bit. Electric mixer really helps. So if you have one, use it. If not, probably get by with a whisk. Personally, I like the electric mixer. And then I find that while you're doing this, if you have the milk in hand at the same time, it makes for a better blend, a creamier batter. Also, you want a container that's got high enough size so that when your beaters start to go, they're not throwing flour all over the place. Also, you add the milk a bit at a time. I've said it before, you can always put more stuff in, you can't take stuff out. So we're going to look for a creamy batter. This is chunky right now, so it needs more water, more milk. At some point too, you're going to need to get a spoon and just scrape all the dry mix off of the side of the bowl. And drop your mixer out like that and get it everywhere too. I am not going to edit this. You're going to live with this. It's going to be what it is. you get a consistency like this, a thick batter. It's going to stand for a couple of minutes, probably about 5, and it'll start to rise from the baking powder, and it will get thicker too naturally. So we'll be back in a bit after we clean up the mess we've made and get ready to fry this up. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, how many of you at home sitting there watching were screaming, what happened to the vanilla extract? Well, it didn't. So we're going to dump it in now and just mix it up a bit more. How much vanilla extract? Not a lot. Probably like a teaspoon. Maybe not even that. We'll just mix that in. That's it. This is what happens when you don't have a production crew, you don't have a director, you don't have a producer, someone to tell you what's going on, and worst of all, you don't have a script. Anyways, interesting story. I was going to make this once for a motorcycle camping run that we make, and I brought all the fixings. I brought a mixer, I brought all the ingredients, the container to put it in. We had electricity at the campsite. Well, it was all in the trailer. We had a crash, and we flipped the trailer. It was kind of interesting. And we flipped the trailer, and our camping gear was spread out amongst probably 30, 40 yards on the highway by the time I managed to get pulled over. This is in Ohio. And we never did find the beaters for the mixer. We found the mixer, but not the beaters. So somewhere, many years ago, somebody probably got, unfortunately, maybe a flat from the flat, pulled over, looked, and had a mixer beater stuck in their tire. Anyways, just a side story. We'll be back. Now we're back. It's been a few minutes. I've cleaned up all the mess I made and put most of the stuff away, which is one of my shortcomings. If you look at the batter, you'll see that it's got bubbles all over it, and that's a sign that the baking powder has started to do its thing. So we're going to warm up a pan and get cooking. Take a minute or two to heat up the pan. Don't cook it over high heat. Start low. This is like medium low, if you want to call it that. One mistake often made, especially by my kids, is that they'll crank the heat up to high, right, and then begin cooking and start thinking they can cook, but this will burn very easily and very quickly, and it doesn't take a lot of heat to cook it. So anyway, so give it a couple of minutes, come up to heat, and we'll bring you right back. Okay, we're back. We've let that pan warm up, and you got to get it relatively warm. I find that there, let's warm it up where you see the butter melts like that. I find that I'm usually too much in a hurry to get this done. Start cooking it too early, and the pan's not hot enough. And the first few pancakes, or the first pancake, turns out kind of pale looking. I hate, you know, guys know me, I hate pale looking food, so. 1 scoop from a soup ladle. No idea how much is in the soup ladle. Generally, is enough for one nice sized pancake. So put that in there. And for reference, we will start a stopwatch. I don't know if you'll be able to make out the digits on that or not, but it won't take long. And we'll just do a continuous video on this and speed it up as required. What we're looking for is the pancake will rise a bit, and then you'll see lots of bubbles on top, which indicate it's time to flip it over. So we'll just come back in a bit. Alright, it's been about 3.5 minutes. It's coming up on 4 minutes. and you can see that the pancake now is starting to look like the surface of the moon. It's all cratered and whatnot. You can also slide in a non-stick pan like that. So it's time to give it a flip. Ooh, that looks good. And on the other side, it's pretty hard to tell when it's correct, but it's going to be about, we'll reset the clock here. Let's say about 30 seconds on top of that. I would say no more than a minute and a half, 2 minutes on this side, and it'll be done. It's increased its thickness by probably double, maybe triple what it originally was. Still, and I haven't touched the heat at all, it's still medium low. So again, the trick is to get the pan up to temperature. Get a nice pan, flat-ish at least, or keep the pancakes in a manageable size so you're not trying to go in like this. They should also slide nicely in the pan if you've got a bit of butter in it and it's a non-stick. Even stainless, it should slide around a bit too as well. I don't like to try to flip it like this. Low ceilings, cameras hanging, it's never a good thing. But so it's coming up on about probably a minute and a half now. I'd say give it 2 minutes. And normally what I do, you can see that we have quite a bit of batter left here. What I'll do is I'll cook up the rest of the pancakes. You can take the batter and you can put it in a sealed container, put it in the fridge. It'll keep for a day or two, but the batter then changes. It gets thicker, and it gets cold as well. So when you try and cook it, I know this is cold. It's sort of temperature of the milk that was put in it, but there's still, the flour wasn't in the refrigerator. So I tend to cook these all. What I'll do is I'll cook these all up until I have no batter left, and what doesn't get eaten this time around, just put back in the fridge covered. Heat them up in the microwave. They come out just dandy. All right, coming up 2.5 minutes. We're going to call it, and we'll plate this up and let you have a look at it. All right, stay tuned.